What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So I'm in the car and I'm going to do a bit of a review on the XHP DCT Stage 3 tune. If you guys are planning to do the tune, I'd probably just recommend doing the Stage 3 because it's the most responsive. I know it's dedicated for like track work or aggressive street driving, but the Stage 3 option in the software itself just makes the car the most enjoyable and most responsive in my opinion. And I feel like you just get the most out of the car by doing that option. By all means, if you want to do Stage 1 or Stage 2, just to have that little bit more of improvement, better driving from day to day, daily use, that's okay. But in my opinion, if you're doing the tune, do the Stage 3. It's by far the best option. So initially, when you do the tune, your car might take a while to flash. That's perfectly normal. I've heard some people say that their car just takes like 2 minutes to do the initial flash on the car, but mine took about 13 minutes for the first install flash. From there, it gave me like a transmission error. But from there, it then said to turn the car off and lock it and don't touch it for about 15 minutes. From there, it kind of does a cycle with the transmission, and it there is no faults there, it just thinks there is, but once you leave it 15 minutes, the car does just kind of like reset itself and it goes away. But the first thing that I notice when driving the car, so I'll turn off sports mode and pretty well everything. So this is just straight on in D, that's it, no traction off, no sports mode, anything. Driving the car, you guys probably won't be able to tell because I'm coming down a mountain now, but it knows the gear to sit in. It's as if you've got it in manual. D makes so your standard D mode, from memory, I don't think it had the number of what gear the car was actually in before, but now, like it says D4, whereas before I think it just said D, just D for drive, but now I can see what gear it's in. So right now it says it's in 4th gear, and I mean, I'm just going down a mountain now, so I'm just on the brake, so it's probably not gonna move out of that gear. But the thing I like about just the standard D tune, the DCT makes better noises with the exhaust. So instead of the car feeling very kind of all over the place with the gear changes, they're now very crisp, and just as they are in sports mode when you smash the gears, it does that just in standard D mode, whereas before it would kind of go and like change gears very slowly, but now it's very responsive. It also knows it's more of an improved experience just driving it normally. Like right now, this just drives nicely. Before it just wasn't tuned right. From factory, I feel like BMW didn't really nail the standard drive mode as much as everyone that drives the car would just keep it in. But the XHP did such a better job of tuning it for the D mode. When I can drive on a bit of road where I'm stop and starting, you'll hear the gearbox being a lot more crisp. It changes gears a lot faster rather than being a bit sloppy. It'll just go 1st gear, 2nd gear, 3rd gear, and find the gear that kind of, to save you the most fuel. This is kind of a bit boring at the moment because I'm just driving at 50 k's an hour on a mountain. When you put the gearbox into M, so there's sport mode and manual mode on the actual gearbox. I know you got the actual sport button, but when you put it into sport, like just across, that says S3 now, so it's in sports mode, 3rd gear, which gets, the gears. It's a bit more like if you don't want to change gears and let it do everything, you just put it in sports mode. But the second you put it in, or change in sport and change the gear, so it's in manual, it's like a true manual where it won't change gear unless you want it to, and it'll hit limiter and stay on limiter. Can be good, can be bad, but I think it's quite enjoyable and it makes the car more enjoyable to drive. If you floor the car in just standard D now, it takes off harder. Like it grabs the gear and goes, whereas before it was very like, it had no boost, and yeah, I really didn't like it. Yeah, see right there, I don't know if you guys heard that. I slowed down, tapped the brake, this is just D, and it just instantly drops out. Yeah, so accelerate. And it's already in 4th gear. Like it's very responsive, whereas before it'd be a bit like, yeah, it wouldn't know what it wanted to do. So just going down this hill, like it dropped to 5th, but the second I get on the brakes and I go to a stop, it'll instantly like try and find a lower gear for you, whereas before I find it didn't really do that. So right now it's in 4th gear, I'm coming up to a roundabout, touch the brake, the 2nd gear straight away, 2nd gear straight away, and then give it a little bit, 2nd, 3rd. But if you want it to be a bit more crisp, it's a standard D. I don't mind driving in D now. So right now it just goes straight to first gear, accelerate, second gear, third gear. And fourth gear. Like it's just like driving it in manual. It's like the car knows what you want to do. Before, it was frustrating in driving at standard D. Like I had to drive it in manual to get the gears like dropping like I wanted to. If you want the fastest shifting option, you got to go across to manual, like first gear. Make sure it's in sports mode and have traction control completely off. That gives you the fastest shifting option that the Tune has. So I'm not too sure what the shifting time is, but you probably notice when I hit the paddle now, it's faster. Yeah, it is crisper. It's hard to tell in the video, I feel. You have to come in the car. I'm just gonna use the paddle to downshift through the gears, and it's a lot more responsive. I don't know if you guys will hear, but that just downshifted straight away. Downshift. See, touch the button and it's like, before it would be a bit sloppy, and then third, it's just instant. Like, it's so much better. I'll go back to second, third. Like but it just changed. It's just nice to drive. Before it was a bit, I don't know, it was just a bit off. Then third, fourth. See, it changes fast. It's hard to do the review on the car without being, I guess, on a big open road and showing you guys. I mean, I can sort of give you guys a demonstration, but one, my tires aren't in the best shape. It's not going to do a good launch for starters, and then 4,000 it's set at the moment, and it doesn't launch well at all. How bad are these roads? Jesus. That's how I broke my coolant pipe last time, but like I guess the other one was a bit worse. Bad, eh? This is why you don't live like in a city. Like a lot of people are kind of a bit skeptical. Like if you're comfortable spending the money on the Tune, like I guess do so. But if you are unsure and you're not comfortable spending that money, I really don't know, because it's honestly, it is worth it. If you're okay to spend the $700 or whatever it is on the gearbox Tune, I would recommend it. Honestly, like it's hard to capture it on the camera, but the car does drive a lot different. Like it drives a lot, it's a lot more responsive. And the second that I flashed the car and I drove it, it's just smoother. The gearbox is just smoother, crisper, changes gears faster. It's just an overall nicer driving experience of the car. Anyway guys, I know it's like a bit of talking. There's not too much else I can do. It's kind of hard to film the car and really do some pulls. Okay guys, that's pretty much it for it. Like I would show you, I guess, the launches and stuff. I might do them in other videos. Tune's got like different launch methods where it'll gauge the clutch harder for launch control, like a burnout mode, a performance mode. Burnout mode, essentially, you can do a launch control takeoff and it will do a burnout as you take off, which is pretty cool, but it's not the fastest that the car can take off. Performance mode, you set the RPMs a bit lower, say 2,500, and it will do a genuine like grip and go. I do think they are other additional features that are nice. Like I guess if you do any races from the lights or whatever, or drags at the track. Anyway guys, pretty much sums it up for this video. If you guys enjoy watching, don't forget to like and subscribe. Very much appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Yeah.